I got saved when I was a young kid, like middle school, something like that. But I actually want to skip ahead because most of my story and how I came to really know God happened as I got much older. So I'm going to skip ahead to college. Right when I graduated from college, I got a job working for a IT company, and it was a good job, but I was having trouble adjusting. And during that time period, during that job, I worked there for almost 5 years. Um, I started taking pills and other things to help me kind of cope with. I don't know. It felt like a environment that wasn't very creative. It was and what started with something very simple like taking pain pills, stuff like that, uh, Vicodins, simple stuff like that. Over a period of years, um, grew into something uh, much different and much heavier upon me. I started. I My addiction went from pain pills to doing hard stuff like doing heroin, and over a long period of time, it started to really take its toll on me, and uh, I ended up getting help and going to a rehab. Um, and at that rehab, it was a almost it was like a work camp where you would work so that you didn't have to pay because it was it's expensive to go. So I went there, and it was a rehab actually that had God in mind, but it was like a boot camp. Like, we were making wood pallets for 10 hours a day, and I just ended up leaving. I wasn't able to hear all this stuff about God and everything because I'd gotten so far away. After I left that boot camp, I came back. I came back home, and I disappointed my family and my girlfriend at the time, who we were planning on. Uh, we were talking about getting married after I got my stuff straight, and I thought that I would be able to. I just didn't realize how bad my addiction had become. Um, after that, I ended up going to another place, and I really did get my stuff straight, where I wasn't using, but I still wasn't relying on God so much. It was after I got back from the second rehab, and it I had stopped the addiction, or I had stopped using the hard drugs, but I was a shell of myself because I'd been doing it for years, and I was just very, very different than who I was. So the woman that had actually encouraged me and helped me to even be willing to go change my life, she ended up leaving me very soon after I got out of rehab, and it felt almost comical, like how terrible how terrible my life was at that point. It was like not funny to me at the time, but I can look back, it's funny now. And and I just remember feeling like as if the oxygen and the air just sucked out of the room, and I realized, man, this woman that I've been going back and forth with for so many years, she's she's really gone. And um, it was at that point where I said, God, um, if you're real, I need to see something. Like, show me that you're real. Otherwise, I'm going to kill myself. Because I was just mixed up. I'd never felt the power of God before, and it wasn't. It was strange how it happened because I had unwittingly. I said, God, if you're real, then I'll start doing things your way because I've made a mess of this, and I can't do this. And it was 3 days after I was driving down the road early in the morning, and I just started laughing. I didn't really know why. It was very strange to me, and um, I felt like, wow, like, God, you're so incredible, like so smart, that I was in a place where I'd become a Christian when I was a young kid, and I felt that all the luster or the ability to be genuine with God was gone because I had just done so many things that were wrong. And I realized in that moment when I was so low that I had unwittingly recommitted my life back to God. Like, I said, God, I can't do this, I'm going to do things your way. And I realized, after talking with some people that God does that for people. It's like a lot of times we feel like when we're all the way down, God's up there judging us, or he just, kicks us when we're down. He's saying, no, this person's too bad. And it's actually like a real dad, when you've messed up so bad and none of your friends, like, you're too embarrassed to be around anybody. It's like the only person you can even look at, and it's hard to look at them, like your family, and you say, I need help. I'm messed. I've screwed everything up. It's like the Father actually picks you up. He doesn't put you down. And I had it all backwards because that's the way that I felt. And he picked me up, and I slowly started trying to build a relationship with God. But I was on my own. Well, I shouldn't say on my own. I had my mom, and my mom had always been a faithful believer, and she helped me, start doing regular devotionals and stuff like that. She really helped me quite a bit. And as I continue to slowly move forward, it's like it was a period about 6 months. And that period about 6 months was, I didn't know at the time, but it was preparation for what was about to happen to me and my family. And if not for those 6 months, I don't know that I would even be here, because, it's God's grace, and I thank him for it. He says in time, as we grow, we'll thank him for everything that he does, because his plan is perfect. And so about 6 months later, my younger brother got sick. He just got sick. He got sick out of nowhere. It was very weird. He was 24 years old, and he got sick, and we as a family, it was really snowy outside, and we'd actually called the doctor. We were thinking about taking him in. We thought he had the flu or the pneumonia or something, and it got to a point where we said, we're going to take him into the doctor. And we were taking him into the doctor, and he was talking like he was delirious, because of the temperature. And I went to pick him up, and he had a seizure on me. And keep in mind, he's never had a seizure. He's just like me. Like he has no prehistory of it, right? He had a seizure, and he was so weak. I picked him up, and then after he seized, I felt his heart stop. And I watched the life go out of his eyes. And I remember shaking him, and asking, come on. And it took, he was seizing, and he would come back for a second, and I'd feel him go away again. And we ended up getting him to the hospital, and he ended up passing away. And the doctor said that it was a combination of the flu and the pneumonia. And we thought, well, who died? He's so young. And it just wrecked my family. It hurt our whole family. We were completely different. And I remember on the day going to the hospital, I said, God, I don't know what to do. God, please, we knew that God was going to take him, but it had become evident that we had seen the doctor. They said, it became evident. And I said, God, I don't know what to do. I can't ask you to take my brother, and you've made it evident that it's your plan that he's going to pass. And I said, God, just give me big faith so that I know your will for the future. Because keep in mind, God gave us signs that Nick was in trouble. We just didn't see them. But I said, God, give me faith so that I know, so that I can see your will and I can do it, and I can help other people, and this won't happen. Because I just didn't know what to pray. And when I got to the hospital, there was a woman there, and she said, she said she wakes up every morning and she says, God, what do you want me to do today? And she said that God said to her, I want you to go to the hospital and I want you to be with this family today. And to me, that blew my mind because I'd never seen God. I mean, it was a miracle to me. And I'd never seen God move like that. And then very soon after, I met a friend named Chris. And he told me, he said, I think that God's asking me to start a ministry. Something along those lines. And I said, man, I feel like God's calling me to do something like that too. And so each step, like with the woman at the hospital, then with Chris, like God was putting people in my life. He was answering my request. He says, ask and ye shall receive. Knock and the door shall be opened. Seek and ye shall find. Like God, and it's true. It's like if we are willing to search for something as hard as we search for those things that we may love aside from God in our life, then we're going to find it. You're going to find God. You're going to find power. You're going to find resolution. And you're going to find peace. Like, I don't understand why I'm okay. This didn't happen 10 years ago. This happened like a little bit more than a year ago. And God is coming through for me. I have so much to be thankful for. God is growing me. He's putting the people in my life that I need so that I can grow into what He has for me. He's showing me His will. And I'm still learning. And it's awesome because God has come to me where I was at. I mean, I was at a low place. God took me from a low place. And this, recovering now, it's like God has given me hope because I have a purpose. I know my purpose. Well, He reveals it more and more to me each day. And I'm excited about serving God because He's calling me to live out an adventure. He's calling me to change the world. And that's not just for me, that's for every believer. And it's like, my prayer now is, God, I want everything that you have for me. Because that is, the Bible says it will be more than you can even imagine to ask for. So, thank you for letting me share. Greetings from Virginia Beach. So, God bless, and again, I thank you.